Welcome to Here's How We Get There. It's the daily show filled with conversations about business and mental health in a down-to-earth style with real-world language. Now let's dive in with your co-hosts, Kenneth Shark Kinney and Trey Tucker.
Shark, there's a trend going on right now in the economy called doom spending. And it's not just because people are buying Christmas presents. It's because people are feeling pressure about the economy going downward. And in order to escape from that pressure, they're buying things. It makes no real psychological sense, but we can talk about all the ins and outs of it here in a second. But it really is going to be a trend that can cause some real heartache on an individual level for somebody else's bank account, but also for the economy as a whole. So give me your take on doom spending.
It's a lot better than doom scrolling, but to think of shopping as your whoopee and why people do that. I mean, I knew someone who became a hoarder and she was extremely wealthy, a millionaire multiple times over. Husband passed. She used to go to the store every day, spend at least $100 on stuff. That's not a lot different than people that so casually go on Amazon and buy stuff that they don't need. Mm-hmm. And 99.9% of the world can't afford. And you're seeing this a lot, especially with Gen Z. And there's always the belief that we can pay for it later.
Yeah.
And if you look at what happened with our parents or grandparents, credit cards weren't out there for everybody to just build up this debt. Today, it is a real problem that can really destroy your credit, can destroy relationships. It's often the thing that people argue about the most, but it's really, although it props up the economy to some degree, there's nothing healthy about it for the people that are doing the shopping. And I think it becomes, with the changes we've made with online shopping, we've made shopping and that safety blanket of rewarding ourselves with something we want to buy so convenient. It's actually feeding into that addiction as much as anything else. How about you?
Addiction is the right word, or at least building toward an addiction. And a lot of times we'll hear about comfort eating, but comfort spending is a real thing as well. It's just this story has to do with something that's totally antithetical to the idea of spending, is that if the economy is going down, then logically we should save rather than spend. But a lot of times it is that assumption that, well, I'll just add to the debt and somebody will take care of it, or like I'll figure out a way later to take care of it. It's that just kind of pushing it off, kicking the can down the road mentality. But deeper than that, it's really a dopamine hit, because our brain is kind of like a seesaw. One end of the seesaw is pleasure, the other end is pain, and our brain is trying to stay level. It doesn't want pleasure all the time, it doesn't want pain all the time. So if it starts to feel pain, it's going to try to tell us or get us to do things that kick it back over into pleasure in the hopes of bringing it back to level equilibrium. But we got to get out of that dopamine hit for a second and just pull away, do like a Google Earth zoom out and think, okay, is this thing I'm about to do that will increase my dopamine in the short term, but what's it going to do to me in the long term? So if we could just pause for 5 seconds and breathe and figure out, okay, yes, I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling sad or whatever it is, acknowledge that, but instead of quickly trying to just flush that away and escape it, think, okay, what action can I take that's going to set me up well for the long term, that's actually going to be beneficial, instead of just that instant gratification hit? We'd be in a much better position, both financially and otherwise.
Yeah, one of the things that they talked about is in this study, nearly all Americans were concerned about the current state of the economy. You could say that every year. The economy does, suck a little extra right now for most Americans, but people are not saving like they used to. We see that in the data that comes through all the time. But I think it's for a lot of people, they're not addressing the stress in the first place, and they're feeding that addiction, which is just compounds itself over and over in so many unfortunate ways. So if you're going to doom spend, buy me something.
Thank you for joining Shark and Trey on the Here's How We Get There show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit here'showwegetthere.com. That's here'showwegetthere.com.